Here's a finished card of this piece, and the only thing that's different might be the actual picture of the school. So just kind of cleaning up some of the palettes here, just move them out of the way, and just have the icons. So just zoom into this piece, take a look at the layers palette, hide the layers, and just take a look. There's an 1/8 inch bleed in red all the way around the card. Card's half of 8.5 by 11, so 8 by 5.5. The background layer, there's a guides layer, and then the images with the layer and the type and the logo all placed on top. So just taking the selection tool and zooming in here with the rectangular tool to do the outside edge, the blue, just switching it and using the eyedrop tool to fill it with blue, and placing the logo over here, the top left corner, bottom right, just dragging with the option, keeps it in the center, shift key, sets it up to the top left so you can zoom into it, maybe tighten it up a bit, and just use the arrow tool to position it just in space, right in the right spot. The section with the text, just make a box. There's no fill or stroke right now. Use the eyedrop tool to just click on the orange and swap it so it's just the stroke so we can see through it. Just duplicate this Myriad, which is the font, Myriad Pro, and just typing in the numbers 21, 22, and highlight the text with the text tool, and you can change it up on the control panel to white. Now also up on the control panel is the character, which is going to give you the font, the leading. Go back to paragraph just to set it so it's centered. Makes it a little easier, just offset it in the gray so you can see it. And there's the leading, the space between the lines, and the font. So just kind of drop it down here. You can use the option to hold the shift key down and size it in proportion, and just use the leading with the arrow right there, and that'll give you the pretty precise lettering. It may not be the exact font, but close. And this Anton regular for the bold font, so just highlight that font, make a duplicate. Place enrollment, shift key to hold the space to the same scale, and then position that and do the same thing. Highlight the text and just make it white, and you can set it off to the side there. So you have the top piece all finished. Here's the blue, just swapping it manually and taking these two pieces, right click, arrange it to send it to back, and now you have the heading, which is referring to it as the headline. And then just taking the letter of the enrollment, copying it, setting it down below, and just go ahead and highlight it and type in the new title, Discover Your. Now instead of doing the feature separate, just do it all one line of type and just position it in there, and then all you have to do is highlight that piece to just change it to orange. And you can use the eyedropper, but you'll see what happens. If you take the eyedropper and click on this, it'll shrink it down to that font size. So the color is in the swatches panel, blue and orange right there, and then just highlight the orange to set it. So you have all the type placed in there. Now it's just for the pictures. So just drag this one, just kind of scale it down a little bit and kind of roughly place it where it's supposed to be. Do a rectangular shape, doesn't matter what color it is, in this case it's still orange. Select both pieces, the orange is on top of the photograph. Go to Object and make a clipping mask, and what that does, makes the clipping mask and allows you to edit the contents, so you can click on the picture and it's just like a little window. You can move it, scale it, twirl it, twist it, rotate it, everything you need to do. And then it's just a matter. So I'm going to lower the percentage to 25% so you can see it a little bit better. And all the photographs, just drag them down, scale them roughly just to get the idea, and just a repeated piece for each of the photographs, same process. Take the rectangle tool, use the ruler guides to make that shape, and then just shift key the two together so they're both selected, the shape on top of the photograph, and then just go to Object, Clipping Mask and Make, and then you can do the same function to Object, Clipping Mask, and modify it from there. So again, trying to look at the composition, I'm following theirs a little bit, and then trying to add to it. So there's the rectangle. Make sure the ones on the edge of the card go to the bleed. That way it'll make it fit all the way to the side. Just kind of position the scaling. You know, use the arrow tool, the move tool, everything is available. And shows there. Now I could bring this to forward, but not necessary. Once it's in the window, you can see it. This one also has the bleed to the left, margin, 1/8 of an inch. So you just position it, edit the contents, and you're off and running. And again, as the pictures come in, you know, you can recompose them. That's part of the idea, is you're becoming the designer to compose the pictures for the best approach. Switch the tool. The V key gets the selection tool. You know, this one's way off, so I just, meaning to the right, so I just grab it. Select the two. Make that clipping path. So it's kind of repetitive, obviously, for these pictures, but you just have to get in there and place them in there one at a time. And then the last picture, way up on the top left here, just take the rectangle tool, make your shape, and you're almost finished. So you just have just kind of a rough, it's nothing, for example, you're doing the piece that's kind of already laid out for you, just kind of putting it together. It's not a new design, but it's a multi-panel layout. This one's a little bigger, so just stretch it out. Then zoom out, and you can hide all the layers except for the active image layer. Under View, Trim, trims off the bleed so you can see what the card looks like. So you can see on the picture of the building, I have to move it over, so I can fix that. And then it places it off to the side. Just do a screenshot, and you have it all set.